Welcome to the Independent Artist Podcast, sponsored by the National Association of Independent Artists.
Also sponsored by Zapplication. I'm Will Armstrong, and I'm a mixed media artist.
I'm Douglas Sigworth, glassblower. Join our conversations with professional working artists. Welcome to the end of the world. You recording?
I am. Is that... Are we live?
Okay, let me start that one over.
You want to use that?
I'm going to. Welcome to the end of the world. Microphone check. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, Will. I'm putting you on the spot here, Mr. Music Man. Do you know what that's an intro to?
No, I don't.
It's Jack White.
No, is it really?
Friend.
Is it new stuff?
I think it is. I think it's one of his new ones. Somehow it... not Siri. What's the Spotify version? Their DJ things.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'm like, oh my God, this is Jack White. And I put it on a list, and then I'm like, it's a new Jack White. Oh,
yeah, it came out, new Jack White came out the same day as the new Rolling Stones, so I've been a little busy.
I guess you have.
Yeah. So, been listening to that in my van and driving to and from anywhere and everywhere, but been doing that. It's been kind of a week of big music, actually.
Yeah.
For
I thought you were going to say big family stuff, because you've got family stuff. I got family stuff. So
yeah. My girls could only come out to the lake for a couple of weeks this summer. They have plans. They have jobs. They have boyfriends and things. They wanted to stick around back in Santa Fe. So I took the 2 weeks that they were here completely off. We spent 1 week in the cities and 1 week doing kind of just total lake fun immersion.
Cool.
So yeah, it's been a good one. I actually
being regular humans, as they say.
Well, trying to act like civilians anyway.
I see your Minnesota Yacht Club. I know you went to that music festival.
It was a big one. It was a really big one. They had everything.
That's what she said.
Oh Jesus! Have you noticed that our roles have just completely reversed after these past?
I sit on the edge of my seat waiting because you've accused me of stepping in it so many times. I'm armed and ready.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's a huge music festival in the Twin Cities. It's in St. Paul on Harriet Island, and we went. There was a little something for everybody. They had local hip hop legend Atmosphere was there. They had. I did not care for this, but they had Matchbox 20. There, I was never a fan there, but they're pros, they're professional guys. So
what did they sing? I can't remember their music off the top of my head. Sing it.
The only thing I remember is that atrocious song that Rob Thomas, the lead singer, did with Santana. That smooth song, Earworm, that'll get in your head for the rest of your life.
No shit. No.
Don't
sing it. Don't sing it.
You don't like that. You want me to sing now?
Not now.
But really the big bands, Cage the Elephant, The Strokes, Mount Joy, Matt and Kim, a lot of Dope Lemon, which was an Australian kind. I thought it was going to be, I've heard some of Dope Lemon's records and thought it was just a guy, but it was a full band.
Nice. I hear they had an art fair component at that music festival. Is that right? I'm just kidding.
No. Absolutely not. My God, it was hot.
That's been our whole summer.
Oh, it's been absolutely awful. And I don't know if you have, Cherry Creek was oppressively hot. It sent a couple of artists to the hospital.
Oh, really?
For IVs and
get some fluids in them.
Yeah. So that was awful.
Yeah, there was a Plaza art fair a few years back where somebody was they went to the hospital and they were put into a medically induced coma from the heat. So I still don't even know how they've done, actually. I've never really circled back on that. So,
was that an artist?
An artist, yeah, another artist setting up the show. That was kind of like circulating through about, hey, be careful, it's hot, and somebody's actually in bad shape. So
yeah, that we were hanging out at the Yacht Club Music Fest and backed off of the big stage thing and kind of went and found a place to kind of sit for a second, and a guy died.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Not just passed out, he actually died.
He died.
From the heat, or just
from
like
the heat. He was a older, overweight gentleman and couldn't stand it, and it was pretty. We saw the medics kind of panicking, and then we saw them carrying him out on a not carrying him, but carting him out, and there was a guy on top of him giving him CPR.
Jeez, well, we're only a few minutes into this podcast, and you're talking about someone dying for crying out loud.
Sure.
Welcome to the Independent Artist Podcast, folks.
When I was back in my radio days, I was doing a radio show, and they were having, it was a local independent community radio station. And we were upstairs, this really tall, narrow stairway, and we had these ladies from a local church coming in to record some gospel stuff. And they were coming up the stairs, and the stairs were too steep, or she was too bad health, got to the top of the stairs, died.
Did she go down the stairs then when she died?
No,
or
just got to the top of the stairs and undramatically just kind of was like, da-da-da-da-da, just got to the top and died.
Jeez.
That's two I've got.
Yeah. Well,
two deaths.
I've just recovered from a little touch of heat stroke myself. We were blowing glass this morning, and this has been an odd day. We started at our usual 5 a.m. time, and we were kind of on track to be done around 10 o'clock is our normal time. We're kind of wrapping things up because it's getting too hot, especially in the summer here.
Sure.
And when we started the day, it was maybe 75 outside, and it was 96 in our studio. I know that sounds brutal, but I could work all day in our 96-degree studio. But when it jumps over 100 and gets to like 106, that's when you feel like you can't even go 10 minutes.
Do you guys have I picked one of these up at the local hardware store, but have you guys ever looked into mechanics ACs?
Yeah, that'd be like throwing ice cubes into a fire pit, honestly.
I mean, maybe.
It's just that it's too small. I mean, we have so many. Here's another thing that delayed our timing today. And so we started, and we're on track to we did like a piece and a half. And we've got these big industrial fans blowing all over the studio to try and ventilate and everything. And a burning ember of paper flew off of our paper paddle that we used to shape the glass, and it flew directly into Renee's eye. It stuck to the outer layer of her eye. So
Jesus,
we've got an urgent care visit under our belt this morning, and they peeled the little piece of burning ember off her eye. And she says, "Okay, I'm good. Let's go back to work." So come on, Renee. That lets you a little bit into my wife's work ethic. She will do it. She will get it done.
God, that is so not me. I'm like sitting there looking at my collection, and I'm like, it's fine.
I'm done.
It's good enough.
Okay, it'll be good.
I do have 2 commissions that people have thought were done months ago that I'm delivering to Park City.
Okay.
So those will be. I have to do those, and I have to.
You have to show up with them, right?
A little bit. Yeah, and I have to round out my collection a little bit. Something interesting I noticed when I was at Old Town is, and I don't know, it's got to be a little bit of a difference. Well, it's a huge difference what you guys do and what I do, but like I can change the total feeling of my booth with just a couple of pieces. And I hung my Old Town booth and really liked all the work and loved what I was doing. I was really happy with it for once. And I'm pretty
no self-loathing that weekend.
Oh, God, not that weekend. But not until, 2 hours later when I noticed how incredibly masculine my entire booth was.
Okay.
And I do pretty masculine work, and that's fine, but it was maybe even a little off-putting. I had it was too much, cool story I can share with you about one of them if you feel like it.
Sure, yeah, tell me. Lay it on me.
So I had, I'll just say that the collection was like a boxing piece, a blues marketplace piece, a record store piece that you've seen in my booth before, but this one had a male clerk sitting behind the counter as opposed to a woman shopping or something like that, which it typically kind of is based on my wife. And then another couple of pieces that were like, I'm trying to remember what else I had. There was a billiards piece with just a big male presence in the front. And then, so I was sitting there looking at it and I'm like, oh my God, this is only for men. It really is. And I need the female approval, or I need the female, to get that out of the piece. So,
yeah.
Or to get get people to buy. So typically.
Do you remember the conversation you had way back at the beginning with Dylan about him saying that, if I remember this correctly, it stuck with me, is he said, don't you notice that there's a huge feminine presence on the scene that is behind the purchasing power? You know what I'm saying? Like if you need to appeal to the women in order to make that happen.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, that's what he said. And I guess I think about it from time to time. It's like, is the balance out here skewed more, towards women?
I mean, I think it has to have some, when you look at the people that come out to the shows, it's not strictly a female presence, but there aren't too many times. I can think of twice, really, when it's just, actually three, this is really funny. I can think of 3 times where the male presence has come in first. And maybe a lot more than that. Anyway, I've got 3 decent stories. The rest are just boring. But the one, a guy came in and it was for basically the wife was encouraging him to decorate the downstairs of their house. It's
the man cave, right?
Well, no, not just. It was like multiple bedrooms that had a bar and a pool table and a movie theater. Okay. It's like one of these Park City places.
Okay.
And so he picked me and he literally said, "Don't fuck this up. My wife's got to like it too." And I was like, got it.
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Follow the assignment.
Yeah. And so I came in and I swear, Douglas, I thought this poor woman was special needs. She was so drunk. She was so drunk.
No.
And so he got into an argument with her and I'm like, this is blowing it. And he said something like, well, she really liked this one piece that you had and it was one of these smaller pieces that I had. And he was looking at doing the whole downstairs. And I wanted some space to talk to him. And I was like, you know what? Let me go grab that. And I grabbed it. And I was like, this is a multi-$1,000 job that I'm going to do for him, for them. And this woman is interested in a $400 or $500 piece. And I'm like, hey, thank you for inviting me over here. We're going to talk about doing this whole thing. Right. I'd love for you to have this.
Here's your yes and, right?
Yeah, here's your yes and. I'd love for you to have this while we're talking, and you can hang that wherever you want. But this is my gift to you for inviting me in. And she was like, "Oh my God!" So she fucked off and let us work.
All right.
So, yeah,
there you go.
How it goes.
That's a smart move.
Please don't let my clients ever listen to the podcast. They'll find out that their commissions aren't actually ready, that I've said.
He started them 2 days before he's bringing it.
Sure.
Or a week or however long it takes.
Yeah, ink and acrylic, baby. It dries fast.
This episode of the Independent Artist Podcast is brought to you by Zap, the digital application service where artists and art festivals connect.
Douglas, I'm thrilled this week that we are being sponsored and supported by Zapplication.org.
It's really great that they appreciate what we're doing here on the podcast.
And I appreciate what they are doing, basically because I feel like I'm an intensely lazy man. And they make the entire art show process, signing up for shows, a lot easier.
And they have that tagging feature for us. That way we can put little notes about a show to help us maybe with building that perfect tour.
Or you can write whatever you want on it. You can write, hey, this show sucked last year, but it had promise. Uh-huh. It's going to be exactly what you need it to be, and I appreciate that extra bonus feature.
Yeah, me too. I can't believe this, Will, but we're actually doing a call for entry for shows for next year already. The application is open for the Coconut Grove Arts Festival.
I swear to God, Douglas, this time of year gives me the highest level of anxiety, and it would not give me the anxiety if I did not love the particular show. This show has been very good to me. It's been very good to you. We wanted to talk to you about this show. It is the 63rd annual show at Coconut Grove Arts Festival, presented by First Horizon Bank down there in gorgeous Miami.
Yes, I'm reading here that they calculate from the surveys that there was $4.4 million in reported sales for the weekend amongst all the artists.
That's crazy.
Yes.
I mean, you think about all the people that didn't even respond.
I talked to Camille about this. She said that she had a very high response of artists.
Okay.
So then she extrapolated that number based on an average per that sample. And it was over half of the artists replied. So that's a safe number for sure for her to use.
That's a hell of a sample size. Yeah, absolutely. You've heard us talk about this show because Douglas and I have done this one in the past. We've been lucky enough to do that one in the past. If it's good enough to drive down to Miami, Florida from Santa Fe, New Mexico, it's good enough to apply This is a paid call for entry, folks, but we're giving you our honest impressions of the show and giving you some real numbers here.
It's a 3-day show. There's great sales. They feed you.
Coconut Grove has always been the show that is the beginning of the show season for me.
True.
If I'm lucky enough to get into that show, then it marks the beginning of a year, and it marks it with kind of a big bang.
Okay, so applications are open now, and the deadline is September 11th.
That deadline's approaching quick, folks. That's a month and a half away. July feels like nothing, but get that application in early.
And the actual show runs February 13th through the 15th, which is President's Day weekend. So you're saying, wait a minute, it's on a Monday? That's President's Day, and that is a day that people come to the show. It's a great show day.
Yep, I find that people close a lot of sales on that final day. Mm-hmm. It's also Valentine's Day weekend, so bring your sweetheart and get on down to Miami. You want me to say Miami back? Miami.
Yeah, Miami.
Get down to Miami, Florida. Come on, get to Miami, Florida. All right, do that. Right. Coconut Grove, how about that?
Get yourself down to Coconut Grove.
Mama.
Man, so the heat was... Did it keep the buyers away at Cherry Creek, or did you still have a good showing there?
You know, I still had a really good show. I hit my have to and got halfway to my want to, if that makes sense.
That does.
So yeah, I was happy and I felt pretty lucky because I think a lot of folks were way down because of the heat. You know, it's just, I mean, I can't say enough good things about the show.
Right.
They
did their part.
Man, they kept the volunteers out there and water bottles filled and kept us snacked and ready to go. I gotta give a little shout out to our good friends Tate Hamilton and his lovely wife Sammy there at the show. They came by and saw me. Honestly, at my absolute worst. I hung in there, you know, Friday. I started hydrating. I'm used to the altitude, but I was coming from Minnesota, so I started really hydrating on the way up on the day 2 of the show. That's really important, is to drink a lot of water, get your electrolytes in and kind of get your body stocked before you start even setting up. Because if they say, I mean, honestly, if you're thirsty, it's too late.
Damn.
It's you know, you're already fighting a losing
but
game.
who wants to pee every half hour on the way on a cross country drive there, sir? I get your point.
I was by myself. You're always with Renee. You just
that doesn't stop me. That doesn't stop me at all.
Do you pee in front of Renee?
Oh,
you got a trucker's friend?
I do one of these. I just kind of turn to the side a little bit.
Gross. Yeah, I got to keep a little mystery alive here. All right. For her and for you and me, pal. So anyway, hydrate ahead of time.
Too real.
But by Sunday, it was a losing battle. I couldn't do anything for myself there. And I was like, and that's when the major heat hit. It was like 96, 97. And, you know, you're there on the asphalt and the air is not moving. And I actually brought my big chair and a big umbrella. But Tate and Sammy saw me and they were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, kind of no. I mean,
right.
I really should have just said no. And, but there was a business behind me, like a Crate and Barrel. And I kept going and pretending I was interested in, you know, I get sweatier and grosser and nastier and move slower and just stumble in and be like, "I'm going to buy a really nice couch."
Was it just to cool down or use their bathroom? Or
just to sit in the AC for a minute.
Yeah, right.
They were cool about it. They knew.
Yeah.
But I did bring like a fisherman's cooler. And it was like a
party at Armstrong's booth.
Kind of. I tried a thing where I was like, I sent my email list out and I was like, "Come have a drink with me, you know, grab a bottle of water or coconut water or a beer." And so I had just all sorts of things. And
you texted me, you said, "I'm filling my cooler with hydrating liquids." I'm like, well, that eliminates a lot of other liquids.
Yeah. Well, it's like one of these like 30, it's like a 3-foot long cooler. So you can put whatever you wanted. But
jeez.
I put in
bath in that thing.
You could. Well, I did. And I encouraged my neighbors to, like, if you soak, this is a trick. I don't know if you know this or not, but if you have a cooler that's big enough, if you put your forearms, both your forearms, under the water and you keep it submerged, you can
Mhm.
feel your body temperature dropping by like 5 to 10 degrees. It
Mm.
feels like you're in the air conditioning, and it's air conditioning your body, and it lasts for 30 minutes
Mm.
or up to an hour or whatever. It really helps, but you got to
Mhm.
be super, super careful not to black out,
Mm.
because if you're already overheated, you can really fuck yourself up. So be careful. But
There is a glass blowing trick. I've seen the masters will have like a bucket of ice water at the
Mhm.
base of their bench, and they'll wear shoes that they can like, easily kick off, like Birkenstocks or, sandals or something. Kick them off and you just stick your feet in there while you're working, and that drops your temperature too. So anyway,
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. Do you
cool
guys do
yourself
that?
down. I don't do that. I
You
have
just
trip.
rub. Did you ever just like run hot ash into your eyes? That's your trick? That's what you
That's
guys
my
do?
trick. No, my trick is I just keep working until I faint and pass out, and I say,
You said heat stroke. That's no joke.
no, it is no joke. It really, I mean, I make light of it because we're just used to working in the heat and having, we always pretty much when we work in the summertime, we take like a 1.5 hour nap afterwards. We get in the cold shower, lay in bed, watch a murder mystery, and just try and go to sleep and recover. And usually that's enough time that we feel like doing other stuff again. Yeah, that's a little bit about our glass studio anyway.
Well, I was going to ask you about it because I'm out in an un-air conditioned metal barn.
Yeah, that's rough.
So you can actually feel when the sun hits it, you can feel the hot air lowering, and then the horse flies are out.
Yeah.
So you can't keep the doors open. So what I've been doing anyway is just cracking the garage door so that the hot air, once it hits the ground, can run. But
Okay.
it's been so hot. I was loading. When we went to that music fest, we had the dogs with us, and we actually did a couple things. We went to Chicago. We took the girls to see Noah Kahan. We went to Minneapolis. Went to this music festival. I mean, it's just been a whole thing.
Wow.
But like, we had the dogs with us at Chicago, and I was loading the car, and the dogs are already in, and I was like, obviously the car's running because they're in there, and I'm like, man, I feel this weird cold air on my leg. It's the exhaust. Like, that's how hot it was. Is the exhaust felt cold compared to the air. So
naughty. Well, it's not just heat that's been going on. Look at all of the storms that have just like destroyed so many shows, like here in June, early June and stuff. Like, I was out in Rittenhouse. I know you had to cancel. And I never in a million years expected that show to get hit by just this fluky straight line wind storm that just like
it's all
destroyed
protected
part of the
by
show.
a city, you'd think,
Yeah.
like the city. Like, a lot of times you get into a city, and unless you're on a corner where a wind tunnel's coming through, that the buildings will kind of protect you. But man, you guys really got hit.
Well, I was in a spot where, as we're setting up, we're like, oh my God. We had one of those premium spots on a corner, entrance into the park.
How'd you get that?
And and so we're setting up, feeling pretty happy about our lot in life. And all of a sudden, an artist walks up to us and says, "Oh, you're in the windy spot." I'm like, what?
Oh, no.
And then somebody else walks up and says, "I can't believe they put glass here." I'm like, what? I'm like, is this really going to be bad? The setup was not windy in the least. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's just if it's a windy weekend or something. Maybe it's just not whatever. And so the next day when we're at the show, the whole day we're like having to slide our tent back. And we've got a nice substantial tent and weighted and all this stuff. We set up like a brick. I mean, we are just solid. And we kept having to like pull our one leg over because it would slide about a foot. So then at the end of the day, we get a notice that there could be some storms overnight here, so just batten things down. So I did what I always do when I hear that's the case. I pull out the ratchet straps, and I do the cross bracing from one corner to the next on different walls. And
Which
then
only works if you have the bottom bar
the stabilizer
bracing at the
bars.
feet, the stabilizer bar.
So even though we were a corner, we had stabilizer bars on 3 of the 4 sides. And then before we left, I put the 4th stabilizer bar on so that all 4 bars around the floor had, they were connected and strapped. So I'm like, we're fine. No big deal. see you in the morning. Well, we were staying in the neighborhood in a hotel, and about an hour and a half later, we get the message from the show. Hey, storm came through and there are tents down. If you're in the area, you might want to come check out and make sure everything's okay in your booth.
Brutal.
I'm like, we're dead. We're totally dead. I mean, our whole little neighborhood was battling wind all weekend or all day. And so I'm like, whatever. I was prepared. I was mentally prepared to see a bad scene.
Right.
We got there and our neighborhood was just fine. But all down this other side of the street, there were booths flipped up over on their tops, and they were all the big tents. They weren't like flimsy, easy up, easy down kind of tents.
Man, that's just brutal. That's the typical way of like, I don't know. Do you remember, did you ever do that Virginia Beach boardwalk show back in the day?
No.
They still do it.
I don't do it. I have never done it.
So it was a no-brainer for me when I was in Virginia. Yeah. You know, it was like hour and a half maybe, or an hour even if the traffic's right, just from home. So
that's like literally on the beach, right?
Yeah, it's right there on the boardwalk, and you have a big railing in, and typically the winds are blowing in from the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got a railing there, and people can tie down and tie down against the railings, and it's really helps. Everybody's pretty sturdy.
Okay.
But they had a storm come in where the weather just flipped and came in from the opposite direction. So people went whoop and flipped over the railing. And I remember going back, and I was tied down and I was fine. But I see in the background while I'm looking at it, a trim line, tink, 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 just skipping across the beach towards the ocean, just like
really.
And somebody's just, and it's got their weights are attached to it, the heavy duty weights, and Art is just already all over the ground, and they're just chasing this thing. It's just heartbreaking.
That is heartbreaking,
and also a little bit funny. It looked funny. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, it sounds kind of comical. The shape of the tent is doing its little dance across the beach.
Until it's you. And it's just somebody going, just
that was my
booth. Help me. I don't know.
But man, we had wind there. We had wind in lakefront. It seems like wind everywhere. Des Moines, we didn't have wind. Of all places, Des Moines, the weather was the best I've ever experienced Des Moines.
Man, I was talking to my wife earlier, and she was saying, she's like, I didn't have all of the heat and everything. She didn't go to Cherry Creek this year. She's like, I didn't have FOMO from Cherry Creek like I expected myself to, but I did about Des Moines, She was like, man, I just really wish I'd been able to be there. It looked like just kind of a magical weekend for you guys. Looked like people really turned out, and
it was great. It was really great. And we had actually packed because we were on the wait list for Cherry Creek, and we packed with the hope that somebody did so well the weekend before Cherry Creek that they didn't have enough inventory to go on, and we might get the call. And you know what? I'll be damned if Des Moines didn't treat us so well this year that it was kind of like, it's okay. If we have to miss a year or two or whatever, this is our year, and that's okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, while we're talking about Des Moines, I'd be remiss if I did not say a heartfelt congratulations to our old friend Stephen King for winning Hall of Fame in the International Festivals and Events Association.
That's pretty damn cool.
This year. Yeah,
That's
really
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
They figured he won so many damn awards, they had to give him an award for winning award.
Right, I guess so.
Right? So,
Your show is great, and now you're great.
That's right. Let's put the guy in there. Let's cast him in bronze. Put him in there. So anyway, big congratulations to our old friend Stephen King. Season 1, I think, like episode 2 or 3?
Yeah, one of the first ones, and that was him talking about how they were going to get Des Moines open after COVID if it killed them. He's like, we're making this happen.
Yeah, and they did.
They did.
Yeah, put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Folks, the call to entries that we have been doing for different shows are paid advertisement. We found out that they go quite well. I've heard that they've been really kind of a boon to their application process.
Well, now it's our turn to do a call for entry, calling all show directors who would like to announce your show applications coming due here on the Independent Artist Podcast. But don't take our word for it. Here's what some other show directors have to say about advertising on the podcast. First up is Camille Marchese from the Coconut Grove Arts Festival.
I can't think of a better source because all the artists are literally listening to your podcast as they're driving across the country. So what better advertisement for us than their captive audience in their trucks or vans while they're traveling?
Seth Lewis, producer and formerly director of the Oklahoma City Fine Arts Festival, also had a few kind words to say.
We saw a higher spike after the podcast than other actions. For us, what I saw is it brought new applications in. So we had our tried and trues, who are your listeners too, but it gives a little bit more exposure to the artists we weren't reaching through other methods.
Amy Karstensen from Rittenhouse Square Fine Art Festival had this to add.
At best, you're going to get an artist to gloss over an email, but more realistically, it's not going to be read. So first of all, everyone listening to the podcast is, for the most part, a working artist. It's a captive audience of literally the exact population you want to apply to the show.
Because I'm an old marketer, I track everything. So I do ask, how did you hear about this? And you'd be surprised how many people say the Independent Artist Podcast. People are still listening to it, even if it's 2 or 3 years old.
It's a more unique way to reach because it really is personalized and there's not fluff. There's not the BS behind it. It's just honest truth and conversation.
That's a lot of ears to get in front of. But realistically, even if you pull in only 10 or 15 new applications, you've covered your investment and then some, because those artists will continue to apply, and would highly recommend it to anybody.
I recommend it to everybody that calls me and wants to get into this industry. I talk about it all the time. I've made changes to my show because of listening to you all. I just think it's an invaluable resource.
Douglas and I do this show for the love of it. I'd just like to thank everybody out there for listening to the show enough so that they actually are being effective.
That's right. So if you're interested in advertising on the podcast, drop us an email at independentartistpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can make your way over to our show notes on any of your podcast streaming services and connect with our email there. Thanks for listening, everybody. We're going to take a little break here from our conversation on this week's podcast, and we brought on a friend and fellow artist, Evan Reinheimer, to talk about a very interesting project that he's been working on.
I've been excited about having Evan come on to the show. Evan has a great YouTube series that features different art shows and his experiences at them. This will probably embarrass him, but I've always found his voice to be incredibly soothing and just kind of comforting. I just kind of settle into these. So nice to have you and your lovely voice on here. Evan, thanks for joining.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm not sure I definitely agree with you about the sound of my voice. It's always weird when you hear yourself recorded.
Trust us. We get it.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. So the big reason we wanted to have you on here, besides just being an accomplished photographer, you've started a new project that is really interesting and exciting, and wanted to have you on here to discuss that a little bit. First of all, I'd love to say this sounds like a promotion for his project. It's not a paid advertisement. It's just something that Douglas and I thought was really interesting. So we wanted to invite him on here to discuss it.
So Evan, why don't you tell us a little bit about what your project is? What's the name of the app?
So I built an app called Art Show Plus, and Art Show Plus is an app for artists and for show staff to use. And there are two main parts of Art Show Plus. The first part is individual artist show tracking, where you enter your sales at an art show. You can enter notes from that art show. You can enter your expenses, information about your booth setup, whether you're at a double booth, a corner booth.
So this is a tracking, you track your own sales to get your own reviews for shows, correct?
Correct. It's like a sales analytics tool for individual artists. It will keep track of your shows over time. It will tell you your best shows of all time. It will have your ongoing sales for that year, for all time, for combined years together.
Is this something you created initially for yourself as kind of your own tracking tool, and now you were able to broaden it?
Yeah, exactly. I've always kept track of my own art shows for the past almost 20 years in spreadsheets, and that's really effective, and it's great to have all those records, but it's really boring and clunky and kind of annoying to fill out. So I built a little tool that allowed me just to enter my data much, much quicker, and then would also analyze it for me automatically. So it would, again, calculate my average and median and typical sales ranges, keep track of my expenses and stuff.
So there's a portion where you can enter hotels and food and whatnot on your different expenses too. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It's not meant to be accounting software. but it's meant to keep track of your profit margin for individual shows, profit margin for all of your shows combined.
But then is there another component to it too that allows that data to learn what other people's data is from who've been at the same show as you?
Yeah, so the other side of Art Show Plus is the aggregated data. It's open to artists and crafters, so it takes every user's sales information that they've entered into it and then combines it together and produces show reports for individual show years at arts and crafts shows. And that data is private. The way that it produces sales reports is it combines everyone's data together and then produces a sales report when there is enough of that data to produce a meaningful median and average for that show.
Right.
Instead of exposing individual artists' sales numbers, it never, ever, ever shows any one user's sales numbers.
It's an anonymous reporting when it's
yes,
a public form.
It's anonymous and it's aggregated, so it's never showing a single artist's numbers. It's always showing combined data, and you can sort that data and sales information by art medium. So you can look at what just glass artists did. You can look at what just photographers have submitted.
But I couldn't pull up, say, Cherry Creek and say, who made the most money? And it doesn't, I couldn't
and it won't even tell you the highest reported sales at Cherry Creek. The primary metric of Art Show Plus is median sales because that's much less affected by really high and really low show reports. So if most people, for example, at an art show are, selling around $2,000-$3,000, and then one artist has a ridiculous show and sells $45,000, which happens from time to time.
Sure.
It's not going to skew that number in a dramatic way.
What about like show directors? Can they look at data from their show to see like what an average sales for their show might be?
Yes. So Art Show Plus is available for artists, crafters, and show staff. So show staff can sign up using an industry professional login, and then they can view all the data, but they can't submit any sales reports. And this is a great way for them to get a feel of how sales are at their shows. It also allows them to see public notes that users have left about a show. There's a section where artists or crafters can enter a note that is going to be public about a show saying like, it rained on Sunday and the show was canceled, so sales were off this year. Or it can say things like, load-in is really difficult at this show, or, load-out was just a free-for-all and it was poorly managed. So it can also give show staff and show directors really candid insight to what artists are doing at their show. And artists can report these things without fear of possible retribution from shows, which shouldn't ever happen. But I know that a lot of artists are very nervous to publicly be critical of an art show because they're afraid of things like that.
That's true. I have to admit I'm a little scared sometimes to say, well, if I report $20,000 sales at a certain show, and what's to keep the art show from then turning around and saying, well, then my booth fee was only $600. Now it's going to be $2,000.
It's no secret which art shows are the best art shows. That's not really a secret, but I don't want people basing their decisions on what shows to apply to just based on going into this app and seeing like, holy shit, the average sale is $20,000. I'm going to apply to that show. And then either being disappointed that they don't get in or making it hard for me to get into that show then. So that was a real concern that I had. But I finally settled on, if I don't make this, someone else is going to make it, probably soon. And at least I know if I make it, I can do it responsibly. I can do it so that everyone's data is secure, everyone's data is private, and that it's free for everyone. And someone's not charging $100 a year or $50 a month to have access to this stuff. It's our information. It's our data. It should be available to all of us.
I agree with you there. I mean, that is the biggest fear that I had is well, what's to happen? Like, most people don't really know what goes into this business and what different artists need to make. And it's always different. What you have to make at a show is going to be different than what Douglas has to make at a show.
Right.
It's the old Spider-Man thing, with great power comes great responsibility. And you have a lot of integrity. And so I do trust it.
artists can always track and see their individual show data and statistics, and then they'll have access to the aggregated data once they've submitted 5 sales reports of their own.
That's a good point, because I was wondering if people could be lurkers and not, you know what I mean,
No,
just
you
join and
can't.
be lurkers.
So
So
if
you
you-
get kicked out if you don't contribute data.
So you can always see your own information. That never
Mhm.
goes away.
Got it.
You won't see any of the aggregated data unless you've submitted 5 sales reports of your own within the past 365 days. So you can go in and you can enter all of your shows back to 2021. And as long as you continue submitting at least 5 shows a year, you're going to maintain access to the aggregated data.
Can I go back in and enter previous year's information?
Absolutely. So you can enter art show sales back to 2021. And the reason I did this is because I want to create historical data over time and, make it really easy for you to build your show history very quickly and see how your shows have been year over year, time over time.
So how do people find your app? How do they check it out and see if it would be right for them?
So you can find it at artshowplus.com. It works as a web app right now. I'm hoping to have it in app stores by the end of August, but that's just a target, and it's something that I'm still working on. But right now you can use it at artshowplus.com. It works on desktop, on your phone. It's built as a mobile first website. So when you use it on your phone, it looks exactly like an app, and it functions exactly like a native app on your iPhone or your Android phone.
Well, there'll be no more art fair application amnesia excuses if we're using your app. You know how every time the applications come around and we're like, I didn't do too bad last year, did I? We'll have data and analytics to tell us what we want to do the going year.
That's one of the things that I love about it, too, is it's in my pocket. So I can take my phone out at a show and be like, how did I do with this show last year? Or like, oh, yeah, it rained last year on Saturday.
What has the response been so far?
So the response to this has been really great. It's been public now for just about a month and a half. And in a month and a half, we've already have 450 users.
Wow.
There's 2,200 show reports already that people have filed.
Mm-hmm.
It's starting to produce some meaningful data. I want to have a really large data set for this because the larger the data set, the more reliable it's going to be and the more accurate it's going to be.
Well, Evan, thanks so much for telling us about it. And if anyone out there is interested in checking it out, we encourage you to go to artshowplus.com and check it out for yourself.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. Long-time listener,
appreciate
first-time speaker.
Absolutely.
All right. And now back to our podcast conversation.
All right. Moving on from that, we talked all sorts of, shouldn't talk about weather, shouldn't talk about the government like REM says, but.
Done. Check.
Check on one. I don't think we'll touch government.
Well, speaking of waitlist, so we were on the waitlist for Lakefront. And, we were a little bummed. Some of our Midwest shows that we like to do, like Lakefront Festival of the Arts, Old Town Art Fair, we got waitlisted for.
Yeah.
So we had a really decent Rittenhouse, and we're driving home, and it's Tuesday, and we're still in Pennsylvania, and we get a call from Lakefront. And they say, hey, we've had a spot open up. Would you be interested in taking, a spot here? But logistically, we're thinking, okay, we have to drive from Pennsylvania all the way past Milwaukee to home to load up the van, go all the way back to, not all the way because it's, 5 hours.
Sure,
That's not terrible. But you know what I mean? We had to factor all that timing in, and it was going to be tight. It was going to be like we show up the morning of setup. And do we want to do that after having a decent show in Rittenhouse and wondering just how we're going to logistically make it all happen?
Yeah, of course.
So we're sitting in the car. We said, can we have a few hours to talk about it? And we're sitting in the car trying to discuss what should we do, And we had, this is a whole nother story that I'll tell a little bit later, but we had decided that we're going to do some home renovations. So the Sigworths need a little bit of money right now because we've got some big projects we're working on. And so we're like, let's just do it. Let's just figure it out. So we made it home from Pennsylvania in that one day. We turned around and headed all the way and headed back to Milwaukee, and we did it. So
what is that, like 18 hours?
It was insane. We got home at like midnight or something after getting the
so
call
hard.
but we were motivated. We were
That's
motivated to make it happen, and we were all in.
That's kind of fun when you get I don't know. I remember one time.
It is.
I got in off the wait list from Cherry Creek, actually, the first year that I did it. And I had sent them a message. I had just done Des Moines, and then I was going to drive my vehicle back to Madison and leave it.
Okay.
And then fly home from Madison.
I see.
And so I had messaged them and like, hey, if you have any last minute cancellations, I sure would love to take a left instead of a right. And they were like, oddly enough, we were actually just getting ready to call you. We do have an opening, so go ahead and do it. And I drove straight into the worst storm I think I've ever driven through. And Gena Krustfenko had texted me and was like, hey, if you're driving on this, you need to seek cover because we just thought we were going to die. We were cowered in the back of the
good
on
friends.
the floor of the van.
My God,
and
glad they gave you the heads up.
Seriously, but it had missed where I was, but hit Des Moines because I'd made it just past enough Des Moines. I was going back through and saw like what Des Moines can look like after a bad storm, and like everything was like the streets were just kind of filled with water, and
were they?
It just was a mess. But little serendipity, I missed the storm, but the storm hit Madison, and they canceled my flight I was going to miss anyway. Okay. So I got my money back from my flight. I was living a little bit of a charmed life.
That's true. That all worked out.
It did. 1 second, I'm gonna grab something real quick. Do you mind? My lovely wife brought me a coffee treat.
Oh. Okay, so I forgot I wanted to tell this story about Rittenhouse and the wind. So not only were we holding down our booth and stuff from the wind all day, this was the most comical thing I've ever seen. So right in front of our booth on the curb is a garbage can that's kind of looks like an old-fashioned kind of mailbox where you pull the front down and you drop the garbage in and you shut it.
Sure.
So this thing is overflowing with trash. I mean, so much nasty crap. There's no way you can fit another thing in there. So the public sanitation comes by to change it. And that corner, there's these big buses rounding all the time.
Yep.
If people aren't moving, they're honking. It's a vibrant city. So this big
really nice way to say that.
Well, yes. Right. So this garbage truck is sitting across the street, and the guy is struggling to get the front opened to get the trash out. And he gets it open, and all these cans, bottles, garbage, whatever comes falling out the front. And then the wind just starts taking it down the street.
Oh, my God.
He looks down like, not my problem. And he actually dumped, I'd say almost half of that can of garbage onto the street. And it just blew down the street and into the neighborhood and into the city. And he threw out what was left, came back, put it in, locked it up, and walked away. I was like, you don't see that every day.
No, you don't. I used to have a neighbor when I lived in Virginia who would, we lived under these huge old oak trees that would just dump in the fall. Uh-huh. And so it was like classic fall where you'd have these mountains of piles of leaves that kids would play in. And this guy would rake up all of his leaves and they put them in the back of his pickup truck and then just drive through the neighborhood.
Rescatter them.
Just rescatter those leaves. Just take this neighborhood. We're like, Alan, come on.
Come on.
That's not.
But at least that will break down and become part of the earth again. All this trash. It's just bizarre.
Just breaks down and becomes part of Philadelphia again.
It does. 100%.
God.
Man.
Amazing.
But we have not been on the same show cycle since Main Street.
No, I saw a glimpse of you in at Lakefront. She set the show up. I can't say that I helped her, but I at least got to spend the night with my wife.
Cool.
That Thursday night when I came up for Old Town. Old Town is Saturday, Sunday, and Lakefront's all three, Friday, Saturday. So I spent Thursday night with her, and she did Lakefront, and I went down into Chicago and did Old Town. So
I know. I was thinking about a conversation we had earlier this year, and you were like, man, my wife and I, we're on completely opposite art show schedules. We've been at every show with Susan, and you've been.
I know.
It's like we have the Susan Armstrong schedule.
I know, and it doesn't look. I mean, it's not like cry for me Argentina, but I swear it's not like they're bad schedules, but they're both good schedules and just completely opposite. She's in Lakefront and I'm in Old Town, and
exactly.
But luckily we get to do the next round together. So.
Well, we got a week left before we head towards Utah.
Yeah, I've got a show coming up here. I'll see you guys in about 10 days, but then I'll have to turn right back around and go back to Santa Fe and help my daughter pack and get ready for college.
Wow.
So,
yeah, I was wondering how all that is gonna shake down. I know you had this big week with 2 weeks with your daughters, and
yeah, and then she's back with her mom for a couple weeks, and then her mom is on the road, and then I'll be down there, and then Susie and I are going to take her out to Vermont. We're going to fly out to Vermont with her. It's odd. You think about taking somebody off to college, you think about packing up the station wagon.
Yeah, right.
and heading, but we're going to do it by plane because, Vermont is just too far.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, our art fair vans sure come in handy for anyone who wants to move.
Well, I would never we're too old to help people move.
You know what, though? It's true. I mean, I was trying to gracefully go into some kind of a segue here because we've actually been using our van as a moving van here the past week. So I guess I'll back up here. So we've had kind of a very our life has been pretty similar, I would say, since COVID. It's been
right.
Our kids are grown. They've got their own lives. We've got art shows. We do our art show life. We make work. We travel. We come home. That's pretty much it. And then we do our hobbies and stuff. But this year, something we've been dreaming about for a while, and it's been since 27 years ago when we built this house. We raised our family and we watched the kids grow up in our house and destroy stuff. You know what I mean? It's it was a struggle to, we saved every single penny we could. We had new stuff, but it was all just kind of the entry level stuff. It's just the stuff we could afford.
Yeah.
But even still, it was new to us, and we'd watch our kids be kids and they would wreck stuff. And we're like, someday we're going to fix that. Someday we're going to remodel and do it nice. Well, this is finally the time where we get to do that.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks. So we hired a contractor, and they're coming in, and they're going to start by scraping our ceilings. They're going to paint the entire house. They're going to paint all the woodwork and the trim. And what is involved with that is obviously we have to move all of our shit out of our house and into our basement. So we knew that this is a project that is going to be big, and it's going to sneak up on us. So it's going to happen during September while we're out doing 3 weeks of shows from Labor Day till the end of September. So that's kind of when we planned it. So little by little, we've been packing stuff up, taking it to the basement, packing stuff up, taking it to the basement.
And that's probably what you're doing when you take a break from working in the 150-degree studio.
Exactly. So that has been all consuming our minds other than preparing for art shows.
Right.
And then we find out my in-laws who their next step or their next goal is to make it into senior living. And the way that works is you have to put your name onto a waiting list, and then you just forget about it until they call you.
Until someone dies.
Until someone dies.
Yeah.
So they get the call. They have an opening for my father-in-law in assisted living. And so he's battling memory loss. And the challenging thing is, at least what we found around here, is we can't put him on a waiting list for memory care unless he's actually in some kind of a senior living facility.
Ah, okay.
And so that came available for assisted living, and that became the primary focus.
Yeah.
And so we've been packing his stuff. It seems like so many conversations with so many different people to help them transition into this. So now it just feels like our whole life is upended because our house is in disarray. We have 4 more big shows to get ready for, and helping parents, move into this. So that's a lot when real life kind of steps up and says, okay, time to focus on me.
Right. Kind of weird. Are you guys going to just stay on the road in September?
There's going to be 1 week in there where we'll be back home. So we have a basement bedroom that's not finished. So we might try and stay in the house, or we might stay with family or somewhere else. We'll have to see how we can make it work. We really don't know just how much it's going to affect our studio time.
Sure.
Ideally, we'd like to shut the studio down for September, but it all is all going to depend upon where we're sitting with inventory and projects and all that kind of stuff. So,
do you have this in blue?
Yeah, it's like,
God damn
normally I can go home and make this for you and we'd have it in 2 weeks, but now you have to wait till October or something. But anyway,
that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Are you so just, I don't know if you want to tell me your schedule, but I assume 2 of those are Plaza in St. Louis, but what's the third?
And then
one?
we've got Longs Park over Labor Day weekend. Your old neck of the woods.
Oh, yeah. My folks used to go to that. That would be sad for my mom not to go to that this year.
Yeah, I remember last year I was there and I'm like, I'm looking for your folks. And you're like, yeah, Dad's not feeling so well. I don't know if they're going to make it up this year. So,
well, cool. I'm glad you're doing that. I'm happy to see. It's interesting, always interesting to see when a market comes back. You know, when people have good shows at shows that had high, glory days, and then kind of falter off for no fault of their own, but just kind of slip off.
Ebb
Maybe
and
the
flow.
neighborhoods change and ebb and flow, like you just said. Yeah. So nice to see that one come back.
Yeah. I mean, we were happy because we had given that show a little bit of a break, and then we gave it a try and we were happy with the results. Also kind of reminds me of what we just went through this past month, just our last show we did. So we were able to do Madison for the first time in a few years.
Awesome. I love that show, actually.
I do too. Yeah, but I have a funny story for you.
You better bring this show back around.
My wife said not to tell this story because I could sound like a dick. So you're
my favorite.
Will, you get
it's my
you
favorite
get to
kind.
be the barometer of.
All right,
of whether
I get to be the barometer of whether you're a dick.
I'm fucked. I'm totally fucked.
Turnabout fair play. All right, let's bring it
on. Okay. So anyone who knows Madison Art Fair on the Square, the art fair takes place on streets all around the Capitol. And there's 4 streets in a big square, hence Art Fair on the Square. And they don't get access to those roads. They can't shut it down until like 5 p.m.
Right.
And that's when they can actually...
Working city. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when they can actually start marking the spots. So they give us a time when we can start to line up. Well, art show artists hear a time and we're like, I'll come 2 hours before that or an hour before that or whatever to find a staging spot. So on all the entry streets, there's artists, that have been pulling up and they've staged. And once all of the spots that you can actually park are full, then we all start pulling into weird little nooks, just to be close enough.
Right.
So we're edging closer and closer and closer to start time. And the parking guy is walking by. The giving parking tickets for people parked illegally and stuff. They're like, oh, this isn't going to work. So in our section of the show, they start directing people who have come later than the people who came to stage, closer to the entrance. Mm-hmm. And so they direct these people who are back to pull up to the front of the line. So how do you think that went over, Will?
F word.
It was heightened tensions.
Now, were you heightened?
Upset. I don't want to say where I was in any of this.
In the heightened
It's not
scale?
about me.
Where were the Sigworths? I want to know.
Let's say we were mid.
Mid heightened.
No, not heightened at all. But we were in a spot where we didn't get pushed to the front of the line by luck or chance, which pissed a lot of other artists off, that some artists got pushed to the front of the line without having to wait. But yet we still got to enter the site before people who were there before us.
Right on. Perfect.
So the whole section of the street is cluster. There's 3 or 4 rows of art fair vans aimed at the entrance. And it's go time. They're starting to let people in. So all of these rows now have to zipper merge. But we've already got all of this tension going on with people are like, I've been here for 2 hours. You pulled in front of me. Nobody wants to zipper merge. They want to play bumper cars. And I thought somebody's vans were going to get smashed. But where in our little section of the area, there was this little BMW who had extra aggression towards all of the vans around them.
Huh.
And I'm like, look, out of any of these vehicles, you're the one who has the most to lose now.
Right.
So it was like, so that went on for maybe a good 10 minutes. And then it must have gotten bad, not just at our section of the show. I'm sure it was other areas too, because they started putting through text messages to remind all of the artists that we're all doing the best we can to, keep a level head, stay calm, we'll all get in, blah, 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 blah. So instead of the text messaging system being used to warn for weather, it was like a, come on now, everyone calm down.
Yeah. Hey, booth 183, calm down.
Calm down. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, Will has said over the years, if shows would just let artists do their own thing, we won't be dicks. We'll all just work it out. And in this instance, yeah, I don't think there was any working out.
You know what? I'd love to put that to the test. I'd like, if there's a show out there that wants to hire me to run their load in, load out, if they've got a tricky one, I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll freaking do it. I might broadcast live.
You'll be like, you park right here.
I wouldn't have any friends.
And sit.
Actually, I would. It would be. I have full faith. I'll put my money in where my mouth is. Let me do it.
All right.
I mean, it wouldn't go in blind. There's like 20 years of experience.
That's right.
I'd probably do, if I had to do if you don't have the ability to do a Des Moines setup, which is like the great big broad streets, then you got to do an artist sphere, which is keep a lane open, unload, and move your vehicle. That's the options. And if you got room to back in, be smart about it and don't be a hard on about whether or not you stick by the rules, because rules change, and that's it. That's my thing. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Let me run. Dear Wendy, please let me run setup for Bayou. I promise I'll be good. Love, Will. Promise I'll be good. Just let me do it. Just let me do it one time. Give me your golf
promise.
cart. Who's going to give me a golf cart?
Well, we're going to take a little pause right now, and we're going to wrap up this episode. The conversation goes on, though, and we are going to air the rest of this podcast episode a week from today. So have a great week. Hope you do really well at your show this weekend, and tune in on your way home for part 2 of this conversation.
This podcast is brought to you by the National Association of Independent Artists. The website is naiaartists.org.
Also sponsored by Zapplication. That's zapplication.org. And while you're at it, find us on social media and engage in these conversations.
Be sure to subscribe to this podcast to be notified when we release new episodes.
Oh, and if you like the show, we'd love it if you would give us your 5-star rating and offer up your most creative review on your podcast streaming service. See you next time.